Real Family Secrets presents. My hands were shaking as I held that silver-wrapped gift box. Behind me, my husband of 45 years just stood there, stiff in his freshly pressed suit. Then she said it. Words that hit like ice water straight down my spine. Mom, Dad, you're not invited. This is my day. Please leave. For a second I thought I misheard her. But no, she meant it. She had no clue we could shut her whole wedding down with just a couple of phone calls. By sunset, her perfect day would fall apart like a house of cards. And she'd finally see what happens when you toss aside the parents who built everything for you. The venue contract's in your name, Richard whispered beside me, his voice cracking. I just nodded, staring at our daughter's cold face, wondering how we'd raise someone who could treat us like this after everything we'd done for her. I remember looking at myself one last time in the mirror before we left home. My hair was freshly styled. $85 I usually wouldn't dream of spending. My pale blue dress matched the wedding colors perfectly, subtle but elegant. Richard adjusted his tie, the same one he wore to Olivia's college graduation. Do I look okay? I asked, brushing at imaginary wrinkles. He smiled that same soft smile I fell in love with decades ago. You look beautiful, Margaret. As always. On the hallway table sat the silver-wrapped box. Inside it, my mother's necklace. 3 generations of Wilson women had worn it on their wedding day. I'd polished that antique silver and pearl pendant until it gleamed. I could already picture Olivia's face lighting up when she opened it. Maybe, just maybe, we'd share one real moment again. The drive to Lakeside Gardens was filled with light chatter and memories. Remember those little construction paper cards she used to make us? Richard said with a chuckle. The turkey handprints at Thanksgiving? I added, smiling. She made us keep them on the fridge until they literally fell apart. We laughed, remembering our little girl with the pigtails and unstoppable imagination. I couldn't help wondering, where had that sweet girl gone? When did she turn into this stranger who barely even called anymore? The venue was stunning, the same elegant garden estate we'd paid for with Richard's retirement savings. $32,000 just for the venue. Flowers, catering, photographer, band. Every contract had our signatures. Even the wedding planner was our suggestion when Olivia started feeling overwhelmed. As we walked through the garden, a young woman with a clipboard came up. You must be Mr. and Mrs. Wilson, Olivia's parents? Yes, that's us, Richard said warmly. She asked me to bring you to her. She's in the bridal suite. We followed her past the white roses and blue hydrangeas, Olivia's favorites, as the crew made final tweaks to the floral arch. The string quartet tuned up by the rows of white chairs. Everything looked flawless. Everything we dreamed of giving her. The coordinator knocked on a door with a little hand-painted bride sign. Olivia, your parents are here. The door opened, and there she was. My daughter. She looked breathtaking, in a dress I didn't recognize. Not the one we'd picked together. This one was more extravagant, covered in delicate beadwork that probably cost a fortune. Her hair swept up, makeup on point. For a moment, pride swelled in my chest. My little girl, all grown up. Then I saw her face. No warmth. No joy. Just distance. Her lips tight, eyes sharp and cold. Mom. Dad, she said flatly, stepping into the hall. What are you doing back here? The coordinator brought us, Richard said gently. We wanted to see you before the ceremony, give you our gift. I held out the silver box with a smile that felt heavier than it should have. It's your grandmother's necklace, honey. The one you always loved. I thought maybe you'd want to wear it today. She didn't even take it. Instead, she closed the door halfway behind her. Look, she said quietly. There's been a change of plans. What do you mean? I asked. She sighed like she was explaining something obvious to a child. Mom, Dad, you're not invited to the ceremony. Or the reception. This is my day, and Tyler and I decided we just want our friends and his family there. Please leave. I blinked. For a moment I didn't even process it. Not invited. To our own daughter's wedding? The wedding we had paid for? I don't understand, Richard stammered, his voice breaking. We're your parents. We paid for everything. I know, Olivia cut in smoothly. And I appreciate it. Her tone said otherwise. But this is what Tyler and I want. His parents have certain expectations for how this day should look. Honestly, it's just better this way. Better without us. Olivia, I whispered, my throat tightening. We spent months planning this with you. Your father took money from his retirement for this wedding. We just wanted to be part of it. She shrugged, a small careless flick of her shoulder that hit harder than any slap. I'm grateful, she said coolly. But this day isn't about you. It's about Tyler and me starting our life together. And right on cue he appeared, tall, polished, wearing a designer suit that screamed privilege. Tyler. The man she said came from a good family. He placed a possessive hand on her shoulder, looking at us like we were strangers who'd wandered into the wrong party. Tyler's hand rested on her shoulder. Everything okay here? He asked, his voice smooth, eyes coldly scanning us like we were a problem on his checklist. Fine, Olivia said quickly. I was just explaining to my parents that the guest list has changed. He nodded once, no sympathy, no hesitation. Sorry about the mix-up, but we really need to stick to the plan. The ceremony starts in 20 minutes. Behind them the door cracked open. One of the bridesmaids peeked out, whispered something to Olivia, and they both laughed. A private little joke like we were invisible. That laugh stung more than the words. I stood frozen, the silver box heavy in my hands, the weight of generations turning to shame in my grip. My throat went dry. Around us, guests were arriving, the chatter, the music, the clinking glasses, and suddenly I felt like a stranger at my own daughter's wedding. One woman caught my eye, Tyler's mother. I recognized her from the photos Olivia had shown me. Her face said everything. A polite smile that didn't reach her eyes, a flicker of recognition. Then she looked away, guiding an older couple toward their seats. She knew exactly who we were, and she chose to ignore us. You should go, Olivia said, turning back toward her suite. The planner can show you a side exit. That way you won't, disturb anyone. That last word, disturb, twisted like a knife. I looked at her, really looked. Her face wasn't angry or sad. It was just blank. Like we were an inconvenience she had to handle before walking down the aisle. Beside me, Richard was silent. His hand clenched so tight I saw the veins rise. I knew that stillness in him. It was how he looked when he was trying not to break. Memories flashed through my mind. Every little moment that led us here. The time she told me not to come to her dress fitting. It's tight, Mom, I'll send you pics. She never did. The venue email that read, we picked this one. Hope you're okay with it. The florist who called me for approval on arrangements I hadn't chosen. The time she said, Mom, please don't stress me out whenever I asked a question. And I'd let it all go. Every single thing. Because that's what mothers do, right? We bite our tongues, we forgive, we keep showing up, thinking one day they'll appreciate it. But now she was throwing us out. In public. At the wedding we built for her. Olivia turned, rejoined her bridesmaids, and shut the door behind her. It didn't slam. It just clicked softly. Somehow, that quiet sound hurt more than if she'd yelled. The wedding coordinator appeared again, her smile strained. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson, if you'll follow me, I can show you to a side. That won't be necessary, Richard interrupted. His voice was calm, but underneath it there was steel. We know our way out. We walked away, past the floral arch we'd paid for, past the catering van we'd hired, past every single thing we'd touched with love and sacrifice. Our steps were steady, our heads high, but the humiliation burned all the way to the car. Once inside, I held the silver box in my lap, staring at it. The necklace inside glinted through the ribbon, something so pure, so full of family history. And she'd refused it like it was nothing. She threw us away, I whispered. Richard didn't move. His hands gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white. We raised a princess, he said quietly, and got an ice queen. My chest tightened. I wanted to cry, but the tears just wouldn't come. Instead, I felt something colder, resolve. All the time she said she was too busy to visit. The missed birthdays. The short replies. The way she told her friends we insisted on paying when really we offered because we loved her. She'd taken our money, our time, our pride, and left us sitting in a parking lot like outsiders. Stop the car, I said suddenly. Richard frowned. Where? Anywhere with Wi-Fi. He looked at me, searching my face. The woman who had always been the peacemaker, the one who let things slide, the one who said let's not ruin her day. But not this time. He started the engine, drove a few miles down the road, and pulled into a small cafe. A handwritten sign in the window read free Wi-Fi. We walked inside. Ordered nothing. Just sat. I opened my phone. The wedding was still happening. The guests were still arriving. The music was about to start. The flowers, our flowers, were being placed on the tables we had rented. But here's the thing about planning a wedding. The contracts were in our names. And the final payments? Still pending. I looked at Richard. For 45 years I'd been the one keeping the peace. But right then I wasn't the peacekeeper anymore. I was the storm. I nodded once. Do it. He understood instantly. Richard called the venue manager. I called the florist, then the decorator, the caterer, the band. And just like that, the fairy tale she'd built on our shoulders started to crack.